getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So Nuoff in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the round pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down it towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot have fun. Yeah, it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. And Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Hello everyone, welcome to JPB Broadcasting, and it's time for the F1 Watch Along for round 16 of the FIA Formula One World Championship. It is of course the 2023 Japanese Grand Prix, and you join myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and James Parfitt for the Watch Along. Here you can see a little bit of a preview of the Suzuka International Racing Course that has been hosting, well, which today will host the Japanese Grand Prix for the 31st out of 47 times it's been held so far. Attendance last year was 200,000 spectators. And James, we're in for one hell of a roller coaster ride here in Suzuka for what is going to be, I think, a very exciting race.
I do think so as well. My only fear is the man that's sitting on pole. We discussed it yesterday during the quali, and it is, of course, Max Verstappen. If he gets away, it is going to be game over. They've got to try and stop him. Piastri and Norris got to get in front of him. They've got to make that run down into turn one. They've got to go in deep. They've got to try and get in front of Verstappen. If they don't get in front of Verstappen, I think he's gone, and the battle will be for the rest of the podium. Ferrari's looking strong. We did say yesterday in qualifying that they did make a mistake by not taking a second lap. They took the one run, but I think they could be strong as well. But it's all about whether or not they can get in front of Verstappen.
Yes, indeed. Max Verstappen could be on the verge of securing his third successive Formula One world title. Now, as you can see, we have three different compounds. C1, which is the hard Pirelli compound. C2, the medium. C3, the soft compound tyres. Lateral energy showing that the rear tyres are going to take an absolute pounding around this 5.807 kilometre circuit. Lap record still from 2019, set by Lewis Hamilton. Race distance just over 307 kilometres, 53 laps in total. But now we get to the real meat and potatoes of this. 53 laps around this circuit at Suzuka. Previous race winners last year: Max Verstappen, 2019, Valtteri Bottas. Lewis Hamilton won it 4 times between 2014 and 2018, only for Nico Rosberg to sandwich himself right in the middle at 2016. Sebastian Vettel, a 4-time race winner. Michael Schumacher is the most successful driver, 6 wins. Hamilton 5, Vettel 4. Tsunako and Kurosawa from Japan 2 apiece. Gerhard Berger, Ayrton Senna, Damon Hill, Mika Hakkinen and Fernando Alonso all on 2 apiece. McLaren last won it back in 2011. They've won it 9 times as a constructor. And so far, Mercedes, the dominant engine manufacturer, winning this Grand Prix 11 times. Last time out, they won it in 2018. But James, Verstappen could not only become a 3-time world champion, but he won this race for the first time last year. That Red Bull racing car has been on rails all the way through the weekend. No one apart from Piastri, who picked up his first ever front row start as a rookie. The McLarens could be dangerous, but I think the way that we've seen Verstappen when he's been on pole, no one has touched him.
No, definitely not. Nobody has. They've tried, they've got close, but it's almost like you can't get over the top of him. He's on a different level. He just is above everyone at the moment. The Red Bull car, they've got it hooked up, they've got it sorted out, they've got incredible runs on it. They're doing a great job with it. They've got it all set up. Of course, Adrian Newey, well, we all know about Adrian Newey. He's a top-end designer anyway, but they've got to try and do something for the rest of the field. He will run away. He will be like a scolded rabbit in headlights. He will be gone. So I don't know what they can do, Alex, and I'm not even sure they can, but the cars are just coming up through Casio now with Verstappen just putting the blockers on everybody and getting them all to slow back down again. But yeah, it's going to be tough for anyone. Verstappen's just looking a different field at the moment.
If Verstappen has 159 points by the end of this race, he becomes a 3-time Formula One world champion. And pretty much the fact that Red Bull have sewn up the Constructors' Championship early. They are over 300 points clear of Mercedes. Ferrari, at the moment, is more to the point gunning for vice championship status in the Constructors this year. The field now making its way through the Casio Triangle. Logan Sargent, unfortunately, was given a 10-second time penalty and will start from the pit lane following a rules breach by the team. because the Americans' car was so badly damaged after putting it in the barriers and bringing out the red flag in Q1. That forced a change of chassis. So Williams were summoned to the stewards on Sunday morning Japanese time and explained that the problem was triggered by the mechanics beginning work making up the spare chassis. As soon as it was clear, it had to be done. The final few cars making their way onto the starting grid. The grandstands here at Suzuka, JP, are filled like nobody's business.
Yeah, they definitely are. You know, they've got more fans in as well. Interesting stat on the fans, which is quite interesting, really. They've had 139,870,000 supporters go and watch this Grand Prix since its birth in 1962. So that's where they're at the moment.
And the Japanese Grand Prix for 2023 gets underway. Good start by Lando Norris. Piastri towards the outside into the first corner. There has been a little bit of contact at the back of the field, but Verstappen keeping the race lead early doors. There has been a little bit of a touch, as I said earlier. Now Logan Sargent will have been released. Norris is really challenging Verstappen at the moment, but it's going to be second and third for the McLarens. Yellow flags out in sector number 1. On lap 1 out of 53, the two AlphaTauris going side by side. That's Lawson versus Tsunoda. Tsunoda gets ahead through the S complex as they run their way through Dunlop for the first time into the Degners. The two AlphaTauris are so close. They nearly make contact through Degner number 2. As on this opening lap, and at the minute, Stroll has made his way up to 12th position. Hulkenberg's just behind him. Gasly's dropped down to 14th. Magnussen up to 15th. But Verstappen has a clear gap. He's already 1.3 seconds before they've even engaged DRS. As Guan Yu Zhou saying that he's got damage, so he was involved at the incident at the back end of the field as the two AlphaTauris nearly come wheel to wheel again. Safety car is out. No surprise. Safety car out on lap number 1 here at Suzuka. And you know what that means. Someone is not going anywhere. It could be the fact that there's debris on the circuit. There's quite a lot on the inside heading into the first part of first corner. There is some, looks like a wing end plate off of somebody's front wing. That could be Guan Yu Zhou's car there, James.
It could be, yeah. There was some ta-ta-ta, should we say, coming down the start finish straight. And there was a few little bumps and grinds. As you can see, it's Bottas's end plate has actually gone off. So Bottas has lost his end plate right at the beginning. And basically, he's going to have to go in and get a new front wing. But they were jostling around on the run-down start-finish straight, and they were having a little bit of a go at each other. So, you know, we'll have to see if we can get a replay and see where the actual contact made. But there was a definite thing. The interesting thing as well, Piastri tried to run Verstappen around the outside of turn 1. Verstappen gave him no room on the exit. You know, the race start now. We're just looking at it. We'll keep an eye on the background. You can see Verstappen goes directly to the left-hand side of the track, or his right, and he tried to stop one of the McLarens. It was a Williams in the back with Bottas having a little bit of a moment there as well. So one of the Williams, I think it might have been Albon, because Albon's now in the pits. They were 4 wide further back as well, with the two Ferraris having a go once more. But it was the Albon and Bottas both making contact on the start, shooting bits of Bottas's end plate all over the place, and unfortunately did not make it through. Norris got a flyer, Piastri got a flyer. They tried to sandwich Verstappen, didn't quite work. Piastri tried to run him on the outside of 1, and Verstappen just opened up the steering on the exit of 1 and said, no, young sir, go back, learn again, you might get there next time. But for now, it isn't all about that. It's about this safety car, Alex. It's about bunching the field up again, and we know how good Verstappen can be on restarts. Can Piastri, can Norris get there once more?
Yeah, the Ferraris were looking very, very close through the first corner. In the pit lane, Ocon, Guan Yu, both Alfa Romeos, so they've had to double stack them. I think Bottas's car had a very slight front right puncture as well. Perez was side by side, so Hamilton's been complaining about that. Alex Albon, Alex Albon got sideswiped, and that was by Bottas. So they were side by side. So Alex Albon has been an unwilling participant on that, and then you could see the damage. No, that was Guan Yu Zhou. We're looking at an onboard from Kevin Magnussen. and he's right behind. Oh, and it's a squeeze. Oh, Albon was 2 wheels in the air. And then
Yeah.
it was Bottas,
Yeah,
because
it was.
Bottas has locked up the front wheels. So he's probably flat spotted the front right. Now we're going to get the onboard from Guan Yu Zhou. So he's on the outside heading into the first corner. And he said, I've got damage. I'm not at all surprised, because Bottas's wing end plate on the right front was coming straight for his head. Thank goodness once again for the halo.
Yeah, definitely. And he got a face full of dirt for his troubles as well. So he's probably got a little bit of rattling going on in that cockpit at the moment, because all the dirt he did pick up. We're on board with Piastri. Piastri got a flyer. He got instantly blocked by Verstappen. Verstappen come over, left him barely a car's length. Could Piastri have been a bit braver? Maybe. It was Norris who tried to run Verstappen around the outside. Verstappen just said, no, young sir, you're not. There is a new wing. I'm going to believe that is for Perez to get a new wing on that car as well. He has it. Was Perez's end plate has also gone. That was obviously contact with Hamilton. Perez was up the inside. Hamilton was on the outside. Nowhere for Hamilton to go there as well. So Perez is in the pits. New front wing for Perez, and he is on his bike. Unfortunately for Perez, he is all the way at the back, and let's see how they get on. But there is still debris on the exit of the pit lane as well. So I'm going to see if they come out and try and clear that one up as we go for another lap under the safety car. So it's been an interesting start, as we said, though, Alex, that they did basically get away. Max did get away. He survived the sandwich squash. He survived both McLarens coming at him. Did the job on Piastri, did the job on Norris. Nowhere for them to go. So let's get this up and let's see how they should see how they go on. Should they or should they not close the pit lane, with the pit lane exit having debris in it?
If it was coming into on the main start finish straight, but it was outside of the exit road, then they would peel everyone in the pit lane. So Norris actually had a slightly better start, 3/100ths quicker than Verstappen off of the start reaction time. 0.24 seconds for Norris, 0.27 for Verstappen. And then from 0 to 200 kilometers an hour, folks, that's 120 miles an hour. Lando Norris was 0.3 of a second quicker on the acceleration phase. So got a really good hookup in the first and the second phases. But the Red Bull came alive in the second phase. And that was when Verstappen was able to sort of be the Red Bull meat and the McLaren sandwich heading into the first corner. But Norris really did have a good opportunity to get through. We're taking a look at the replay in the Alfa Romeo pit box, where they've got literally...
They didn't even have it ready.
Yeah.
They didn't even have the wing ready.
Yeah.
What?
Well, I mean, the thing is, at least those wings are so much easier to get on, and now they're having to lift the car up from the front to get the jack underneath it. That's the normal procedure, because even these wings are light in terms of carbon fiber, but they are a bit cumbersome, let's say, as Bottas is now onto a new set of soft tyres. So is Guan Yu Zhou. Some of the teams that didn't make it into Q2 and Q3, both of which were both Alfa Romeos, if I remember correctly, according to qualifying. They had a couple of, effectively make sure that he has has the opportunity to really, Guan Yu Zhou started 19th, Bottas just inside. Right, safety car infringement noted by race control about Sergio Perez. Well, that might be the fact he might have gone over the actual circumvented the delta, let's say.
Well, that's a possible one as well. He may have basically been trying to get into the pits a little bit quicker, and now he's unfortunately copped himself. Well, it's noted. So whether or not there'll be anything coming of that. To be fair, what they're going to do to him, he's near the back. You can drop him back to the end of the line. You can give him a 5-second penalty. Whatever you want to do with him, it ain't going to really affect him. Now, the interesting thing for Perez that I am surprised that they didn't do is they didn't go on to the hards. But then again, he started on the hards, so he's had to change to the mediums regardless, because obviously, as we know, they've got to change tyre compounds. So at the moment for Perez, he's not really gained anything by starting on them hards. He could have, in the situation he's in, he probably should have started on the mediums. Obviously, you know, hindsight's a wonderful thing, and they didn't know there was going to be a big old incident, and he's going to hit Hamilton. But for him now, he's on the medium tyres. Whether or not he can take him to the end, that's going to be a different question already. Has he got basically the tyre saving? Now, we know Perez is great on tyres anyway. He does an absolutely stellar job on tyre saving in general. But, you know, from now to 53, it's going to be a push for him. I don't think personally he will be able to.
Safety car phase now ending as we are about to get things underway on lap 5 out of 53. Green flag is out. Safety car is in. Verstappen waiting, going at a snail's pace through 130R than what we normally see. Norris, Piastri, Leclerc, Sainz, Alonso, Hamilton, Russell, Lawson, Tsunoda. That's your top 10. Lance Stroll has done a good job from the back end of the field to put it in 11th. Hulkenberg, Gasly, Magnussen, Ocon, Guan Yu Zhou, Alex Albon, Sergio Perez, Logan Sargent, and Valtteri Bottas as now bolting at the front end of the field, and he's got at least a half-second gap across the line. Verstappen, that's 7.5 tenths. He bolted at the right time. Green flag in the air. We're back underway here at Suzuka for round 16 of the FIA Formula One World Championship. So Verstappen leads by nearly 8.5 tenths before we've even hit the Snake Complex, and then heading into Dunlop, which is also known as the anti-bank curve. But again, Leclerc and Sainz were very, very close. They were wheel to wheel through the start phase. And Alonso looking a little bit racy, the eldest driver in the grid, a two-time Formula One world champion, even picked up a title here at Suzuka. I think, if I remember correctly, it was back in 2006 when he did one of the best moments of Suzuka ever, round the outside of, at that point, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Michael Schumacher. As through into spoon curve, into the hairpin they go. Bit of adverse camber banking to the left-hand side. People taking differing racing lines, as now they will head through into 200R right now. And Alonso again. We've been waiting. Oh, that's one of the cars off. That's one of the Alfa Romeos. That is one of the Alfa Romeos off the circuit. That is Valtteri Bottas again. And that is off of the hairpin. Oh, dearie me. Valtteri, he has been
not having a good time.
He's not been having a good time at all, is the Finn.
He's definitely not, no. And the hairpin, his team radio basically cleared it all. We've got the both Mercedes. Oh, the Mercedes are side by side as well. Russell's just put it up the inside of Hamilton, going through Casio. So Russell did just get Hamilton there as well. Goes all the way to the right-hand side on the defense. Is Hamilton going to run him around turn 1? He's giving him a little hip check for good health, and Hamilton takes it back there as well. But the Bottas's team radio just basically summed it all up there, Alex. He just put, what the beep? So clearly there was contact from somebody somewhere about that for what had happened. But Hamilton, yeah, he did well. He got bullied out in Casio from Russell and then come back at him down the straight as well. You see on the right-hand side there, Alex, they're just coming up through the S's. This is what happened with the Russell Hamilton. Hamilton just comes over halfway down the straight and gives him a little have some of that, you're not getting through. And unfortunately for George Russell there, he just kind of got schooled on that one. But Russell did get him out of Casio, but he just couldn't hold him down a straight. So, yeah, it's been an interesting opening restart as well. But as we said with Verstappen, 2 seconds near enough out in front as well. See you later, Verstappen. It's all about trying to play catch-up.
Yeah, Hamilton, a 5-time race winner here at Suzuka. Last time he won here was, I think it was back in 2018. Oh, and it was Bottas getting turned around by Logan Sargent, who's back into the pits again. The American rookie is not having a great time. He's still got 2 home races. He locked up. Bottas sent it around the outside, bang, straight into the left side. Bottas goes round, and he said the softs feel a little bit iffy at the back end. So Max Verstappen, no surprise here, lap 7 out of 53. And he's nearly 2 seconds up the road. Norris is well ahead of Piastri by about the same distance. And then we've got the Piastri train. Forget the Arno Trulli train, folks. But yeah, I mean, Sergio Perez now up to 17th, 3/10 behind Guan Yu Zhou. So the Formula One tire whisperer, as he's more commonly known, the Mexican, Checo Perez trying to close on in. Logan Sargent has had 2 pit stops, so not exactly what he wanted, and he would have had to have served his 10-second time penalty in that first one as well. Let's not on this one now. So he's out of the pit lane. DRS it now enabled. So at the minute, the drivers that will pick that up will be Sainz.
There's not many.
Not many at all. Not
No,
many at all.
there is not many. Lance Stroll will get it as well. Russell's just outside of Hamilton. Gasly's going to have it. Magnussen, Ocon will have it, and Perez will have it. I did make a mistake earlier on. Perez is still on the hard tyres. So he is still on the hard tyres as well. So Perez might be able to get it. If he can whisper the tyres and treat them nicely and give them a little cuddle and, be gentle with them, he might be able to get them to the end. There is a one stop. Normally the softs are up to about lap 20 to 25, then the hard straight to the end. So for Perez, maybe he's been saved on tyre deck for the safety car, Alex, as well. We've got to take that into consideration as we just watched Perez go up the inside there as well of Ocon. So Perez did just get the job done on that run into Casio there as well. So Perez is now moved himself up in front of, that was actually Zhou, and is now up into 16th, chasing down Ocon. But yeah, it's a long way to go for Perez. I think there might be a little swap over to the softs at the end to try and give him a little bit more of a push. But apart from that, the Grand Prix's gone the kind of the way we expected it to go so far.
Yeah, I mean, Verstappen now with pretty much a 2.2 second advantage over Lando Norris. We're on lap 8 out of 53. 46 left to go, folks. Valtteri Bottas now switches to the hard compound tyre. For those new to Formula One, welcome along to the watch along here on the JP Broadcasting Network. And thank you for joining myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and James Parfitt. We'll be talking you through the 2023 Lenovo Japanese Grand Prix here at the Suzuka International Racing Course. It has been around for quite a long old time, from the old 1960s. But yeah, I think it's now a case of how do you maximize everything, because track temperature 43.1 degrees. Wind is down significantly. It's an easterly wind. Bottas now complaining that the car is undrivable. It's undrivable, boys, as per the radio transmission back to his race engineer at Alfa Romeo. But a good battle happening between Gasly and Hulken. Well, it's Magnussen and Ocon. Perez not too far behind the Hungarian Grand Prix race winner from last year. So that's a battle for 14th, 15th and 16th. As Magnussen has dropped behind Gasly. So Gasly would have had DRS assist. And Valtteri Bottas is back in the pits again. I think that is going to be the first retirement done and dusted. Perez hovering all over the rear wing of a certain Esteban Ocon going through the Snake Complex, as they will be carrying the momentum. And at some points, especially breaking into the Casio Triangle, I saw in qualifying yesterday on the readouts for Lewis Hamilton, 5.6 times the force of gravity as Sergio Perez looks up the inside through into Dunlop. Logan Sargent now going to be hit with a time penalty. Race control, 5-second time penalty. That will be for the contact with Valtteri Bottas into the hairpin a couple of laps ago. And also Liam Lawson actually just saying, yeah, high speed just got the front going. Rear's very stable at high speed. And Valtteri Bottas in the pit lane and multi-time race winner out of the race. That's a real shame for him. But you know what? After that significant hit from Logan Sargent, JP, that meant I think the underfloor was damaged so badly that he couldn't continue. That was probably why the softs weren't activating.
Mate, at the end of the day, for Bottas, right, he's had a rough one, isn't he? Let's be real. He got hit at the start. Then he got hit again, and, coming on the restart. Perez has got a penalty as well. Is it going to be 5 seconds? It is. 5 seconds for Sergio Perez there. So, unfortunately for Sergio Perez, 5-second time penalty for car 11, safety car infringement. Now, we're going to presume that was going too fast. when really he shouldn't have been going too fast. That was probably just to get into the pits. To be honest with you, I don't really feel we needed to do that, Alex. I've got to be honest. He could have just got in, joined up the back of the field and made his way through anyway, like he has done. He's up into 14th. 5-second time penalty at the moment for Perez. That would drop him behind maybe just in front of Tsunoda. He will be. He'll be 7 seconds in front of Tsunoda. So for Perez, well, it's a tough one, but he's just got to get on his bike a little bit, hasn't he? He's got to show the pace for the Mexican that we know he has got, Alex. That's the thing with Perez. You know, you'd love to see Perez get the same treatment as Verstappen, and you'd love to see him go on and smash it out. Is this the safety car? Is this the infringement? There was no lights. Did you see the no lights on the pit exit?
Yeah,
on his pit exit board above the pits.
Yeah, I did.
He had no lights to go or stop.
Oh, no. Right. Just seen the replay. He came harrying out the pit lane as soon because that's where the safety. The people in his engineer should have told him, right, be careful. Safety car is out. Perez went past 3 cars on his left-hand side coming out of pit lane. That's where the safety car infringement happened.
But why didn't he get told to drop back?
Exactly. He should have just been told.
Let him go through.
Yeah, exactly. Just let him go past.
Yeah, let him go and just basically retake your position because he didn't even get that message to come through, did he? And that's the thing. He should have just been told, let them through. And he wasn't here once more. Ocon's just hurtled down past Magnussen there down into turn 1. So they've just swapped positions as well. So a great job from them guys. But yeah, he should have just been told to drop back, Alex. I think that's an error both ways. Maybe Perez, possibly. There was debris on the exit. There was a lot going on. You know, poor old Perez. He's had a bit of a rough one. I'd love to see Perez just go at it. You know what I mean? Like, do what he can do. Do what he did at Force India. Do what he did at Racing Point. But he didn't have. He's just not given the opportunity there as well. So, and Sainz is on the radio. The degradation is as expected. We're between Plan A and Plan B. Give that 20 laps, and we'll be on Plan C or D or E or F for Ferrari. So let's see how that one goes.
Probably Plan Z by the end of the race. You never know.
Exactly.
We have
Ferrari, isn't it?
Yeah, we've had a couple of pit stops in the meantime. Liam Lawson and Guan Yu Zhou have already pitted. Lawson now on the medium compound tyres. Guan Yu Zhou back on the softs again. Max Verstappen currently 25.7 seconds ahead of his teammate Sergio Perez. Average time loss in the pit stop 22 seconds. So you add a 5-second time penalty. That means Sergio Perez is going to nearly lose half a minute because of that additional 5-second time penalty for the safety car infringement. Fernando Alonso now in the pit. Softs come off, hards go on. Good pit stop time there from Aston Martin. 2.9 seconds. I would expect probably McLaren, Red Bull to be a little bit quicker on their pit stops. I mean, we've seen what Red Bull have done in previous years. They even set an F1 pit stop world record of about 1.89 seconds, if I remember correctly, and that was absolutely mint. But Sergio Perez on the hard tyres, closing in on Kevin Magnussen. Current tyre medium pit window will be between lap 16 and 22. You can do a one-stopper. You can push the soft tyres for quite a distance, but you can see also that there is. Oh, Perez looks for the move up the inside, and he touches and turns around Magnussen. I think that is a slam dunk penalty again for Sergio Perez. That is a slam dunk and debris.
Yep.
And more carbon coming off of Kevin Magnussen's car as he spun it around. So Perez goes for the latest of late lunges up the inside, locks up the brakes, bang, hits the left rear of the Dane.
I'll be very surprised if Perez got away with that. Beep, I have front wing damage again. Well, I'm not being rude there, son. You sent it like a FedEx aeroplane. You come from so far back on that one. You're going to have to... do you know what? Perez could have done a number of things there. A, not gone for that. I'm not going to lie. Poor old K-Mag just sat there like, well, cheers for that, mate. I'll just spin around and do a 360. Perez didn't need to do that move. I've got to be honest. He had spoon. He had the backstretch. He had, 130R. He Casio triangle. 30 seconds down the road, he would have been past him anyway. Would he have lost a lot of time? Not really. Was there a move to go in? No. And now him and K-Mag both into the pits. Silly, silly boy. Not reinforcing his place at Red Bull anymore at the moment. And now he gets a front wing again, Alex. So, not best for Perez. Probably didn't really need to be doing that on lap 13.
They've got to wait for 5 seconds, though. They can't work on that car. They're waiting. They're primed. Now they start working on it. Now they reposition the car, get the front wing off, new front wing ready. I hate to think how many of those Red Bull have actually got right now, because Sergio Perez, in 13 laps out of 53, has already used up 3, which is the one that was on the car. So we're going to have a look at the replay. This is coming through the Casio triangle, if anyone might remember the incident between Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost in 1988.
What did he do? Did he hit that speed limiter?
I'm not too sure if he did.
Oh, tell you what, if he's got another one, Alex, he is going to be what? Perez is literally experienced, right? He's not by any shape of the masses a rookie. You can't hit that pit lane speed limiter. And if he has just done that again on that entrance into the pits, he's going to be in trouble.
VSC, virtual safety car out on lap number 14, and Piastri has just pitted. So only 10 seconds, over half the time, doesn't get... So 22 seconds under green flag conditions. Piastri exits out of the pit lane in 9th place. So again, the Delta window comes into operation, whereby the drivers have to be in a respective speed. Now, at the moment, Verstappen is a country mile ahead of Lando Norris. He has just literally put in fastest laps. So at the moment, Verstappen is looking pretty much mustard so far. But Perez complaining about the front end, doesn't feel right on the car. I think he might have bent something in that front, maybe track rod, tie rod. Albon in the pits, 31.4 seconds in the pit lane. So whether he's picked up something, as the virtual safety car is now ending. Verstappen now nearly 11 seconds behind. He's coming down the backstretch, heading into 130R. And between him and Piastri at the moment, gap is 36.6 seconds. With the Aussie, who has been re-signed until 2026 by the Woking squad. Very, very good call there by Zach Brown and the management team, including Andrea Stella, the current team principal, as we are back under green flag racing here on lap 15 now out of 53. And Sergio Perez complaining of what is going on with the front end of the car still. So, yeah, I think really from this perspective, JP, we could have a very, very interesting race for what's going to happen.
Did you see that?
Oh, oh, no.
Perez has been told to retire the car. Perez has been told to retire the car. I'm not going to lie. If you're going to hit it twice on a car made of carbon fiber, you're going to be in trouble. And unfortunately for Perez, he has done that. He's got to retire the car. So Perez will be out on lap 15. Do you know what? Really, he's got to look himself in the mirror and say, basically, that was just on me. I shouldn't have done that. Lap 13, there was no need. He's come in now. They've got the air vents on the front and the rears, and they're basically just getting Perez into the pits. You're done, son, and you did it on your own. That's all I can say with Perez. That was silly. I love Perez. I think Perez could and should be a champion, but he definitely did that on his own. He did it on his own. That was a dive on Magnussen. No need whatsoever. So there you go. What's Lando Norris been up to here as well? Oh, side by side with Verstappen.
Oh, crikey, that was coming through the hairpin, and Norris being forced out a little bit. Well, he's all 4 wheels off the track. Is Lando?
He's up for his spoon, isn't it?
Spoon curve, yeah.
Yeah.
But I just dread to think what's going to happen. Meantime, Oscar Piastri has got through on Esteban Ocon. He's about a tenth and a half behind Gasly. That McLaren looks strong. There we go. Piastri gets through on both out. Well, he got through on Gasly as if the Frenchman was standing still. Let's look at Alpine for a second. They've had a few shockers, and plus also a lot of management restructuring over the course of this season. Safnauer out, Rossi out, complete new change of personnel at Alpine. They're in this sort of like transitional phase, aren't they? Because Luca De Meo, who's part of the Renault Group, who's the Renault Group CEO, really has had to say to him, well, you're not getting the job done. Right, you're out, you're going, you're being repurposed. Good to see that Otmar Zafnauer is actually able to take a little bit of time, but the Mercedes are squabbling right now. Hamilton ahead of Russell. It's getting a bit too close for comfort, isn't it?
Oh, through Spoon, they're side by side. Oh, Hamilton is literally schooling George Russell at the moment. He just opened up the steering coming out of Spoon. You're going to, and literally just opened it up there as well. And unfortunately, they did not get there. Verstappen's been told to box, so he will be going in very shortly as well. Welcome in, guys, as well. If you are here, say hi. We will talk to you, I promise. And let us know what your feelings are of what's going to happen, who's going to win. Is Verstappen going to wrap the championship up here as well? Is he going to take the title? Probably. I think me and Alex are both in agreement. It's going to be 3 in a row for Max. Not going to lie. Can he go 4, 5, 6, and 7? Well, yeah. Time will tell, but at the moment he's out now. He's got some fresh boots on. He is coming out in 5th place on the medium. So there we go. But yeah, George Russell and Lewis Hamilton still going to be going at each other as well. I think they're literally, Hamilton's just come into the pit, so that's released Russell. Where is Hamilton going to come out? Oh, that is, I believe, one of the Hasses, I think, as well. No, it's AlphaTauri. It's a Lawson. Yeah, sorry, Lawson in the AlphaTauri.
No, it's Tsunoda. Tsunoda's actually ahead of Lawson. So Tsunoda is about half a second behind, so he'll be in DRS range. But yeah, I mean, Lewis Hamilton is a 5-time winner here at Suzuka. Max Verstappen will add his name to the list alongside Gerhard Berger, amongst others, as a 2-time race winner, the way that he's going. But Max Verstappen clearly on a 2-stop strategy. And I'm sure what George has got some fire in his belly on the radio, hasn't he? My goodness.
Yeah. Me. I love that. I love the message as well. Who do we want to fight? Each other or the others? I love that as well. Russell not entirely happy about the fact that they're fighting, to be fair, but I think what are you going to do? Get Lewis Hamilton to roll over, get his legs in the air and stroke his belly just so you can go past? Never going to happen.
No, that will happen more than likely to Roscoe, his dog. So
yeah, exactly. You're never going to get Hamilton to move over, and at the end of the day, that's it. Norris is in the pits, Leclerc's in the pits. So yeah, it's all looking rosy at the moment. Sainz is now taking the lead, but he's got a pit, so we know that's going to be coming. Russell's now put himself up into 2nd. To be honest, did the McLarens get in front of Verstappen? They didn't. So Max will be the overall on-track leader by the time they get there. So yeah, for Max, I think it's looking rosy, Alex. I think he's going to basically get another pat on the back and get another extended multi-million-pound contract from Red Bull by the time this one finishes as well. So yeah, he's done pretty well for himself, hasn't he, really, for a young lad, considering his dad didn't win anything.
Well, and was actually involved in the biggest pit lane fire back in 1994 in Benetton, if anyone might remember that one.
Did he drive off with a fuel pump attached?
No. What happened was they disconnected the fuel hose and literally fuel just splashed all over the car within half a second. It lit the touch paper and consumed the car.
Yes, I remember that. I do remember that one happening as well. Yes, poor old Josh. But let's be real. Max is doing what his dad couldn't do. Really, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, they have noted the incident between Lewis and George as Carlos Sainz leads us over the line he's going to lead us over the line very shortly. He's just coming through into the Casio triangle, and I think now
He's
his
going to go in the
sign.
pits.
Yeah, he is. He looks like
Yeah,
he
he
is going to
is.
go in the pits. Yeah, there we go. Signs will now head into pit lane, so that now puts George Russell into the race lead, but he's only 1.1 seconds ahead of Max Verstappen, who's closing in on him quickly. There are some battles up and down the order, including Alonso versus Leclerc. That's for 8th. We'll make that for 7th now. Gasly's gone into the pits after lap number 18 as well. So we're on to lap 19 out of 53. 35 left to go, well, including this one, 35 left to go. Verstappen, well, I'm not at all surprised, just closing in like we would expect him to do. He's 3.5 tenths behind. He's probably going to catch him by the hairpin. And, well, that exaltation from my good friend Mr. James Parfitt has said that the lead is now pretty much going to be changing very soon because Max has just done him. Yeah, he has done him.
Yeah, he did him. And Russell literally was like, here, son, there's the inside. And as we say here, if you're going to leave the door open, what's going to happen? You're going to get burgled. Russell went in deep into the hairpin, left the door miles open, didn't even try to defend the inside line, didn't do nothing, and just said to Max, off you go, son. Thanks very much for the little pat on my back and a stroke behind my ear holes. You carry on. He didn't do nothing. There was nothing there. Don't get me wrong. He's probably not looking at racing, Max, and Mercedes have said, well, don't race him. But at the end of the day, put up a fight, lad. You know what I mean? You're not Frank Bruno getting knocked out by Mike Tyson here. You know, you've got to give it a little bit of a punch back, and he didn't give nothing.
Yeah, it was just like he opened both barn doors on the farm and just said, there you go.
He just got robbed, mate.
He did. He got absolutely mugged like a good old Charlie. But
and now George.
I think the thing is that by doing that, he might have been instructed. He might have said, "Well, look, our battle is not with Verstappen."
That's the thing.
That's the biggest thing is that the points between Mercedes and Ferrari. This is for second in the constructors because the way things are, Red Bull in I think a couple of races time will have done enough. They'll sew up the constructors championship once again, and if anyone might remember the confusion last year, I mean, last year in Japan, we had so much rain, multiple red flags, multiple stoppages, finished under the near enough floodlights, all side by side between, I think that might, Sainz and Alonso going at it. The two Spanish matadors, the veteran versus the, the thing is that let's talk about Fernando Alonso and Carlos Sainz. Both have a lot of mutual respect and are good friends, especially with Carlos's father, who is an absolute legend, multi-time Dakar race winner, multi-time World Rally champion, who was celebrating when Carlos took the win in Singapore when he was at the Sardinian Extreme E-Prix just last week. And I think Sainz... Well, Leclerc's got a good turn of pace. He's just set a personal best, 1 minute 38.574, and he's pulling away from Esteban Ocon. Sainz is in striking distance, gets through on the Frenchman down the start-finish straight. So the two Ferraris, they are looking fairly decent in terms of pace. Maybe the medium compound tyre is their preferred choice at the moment. So two stints with the medium. If they have got any used softs, if they haven't used much of them, especially with the ones they used in Q3, we've already talked about that yesterday, where they let them out too late.
They didn't even make a choice, did they? No. Let's be real. They didn't let him out. They didn't make a choice. Alonso is battling away with Hamilton. Now, I want to go back to Sainz. The interesting thing for me with Sainz and Alonso, the picture that come out right at the beginning of Sainz's career, it was Fernando Alonso standing right beside him, right? So now you've got the kind of the boyhood fan and his hero have just battled it out on track, and Sainz has just gone through. just picking it up quickly on the Constructors' Championship. To be honest, they're over 300 points ahead. And for Red Bull, unless there's some major miracle going to happen here as well, I don't think they're going to be able to get through. Alonso is battling away with Hamilton. Oh, well, that's going to be an interesting one, isn't it? Alonso and Hamilton, we've seen that before. Hamilton is now after Ocon. Yeah, I know. Do you see it?
I know, going through
Yeah.
130R and over
Yeah.
290 kilometers an hour. Hamilton does him up the inside. He's going to be on Ocon's rear wing, like on it like a car bonnet, effectively. Yeah, on
like
the proverbial.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's Hamilton is right with him right now, and he's got him. He's got him. He's done him down the start-finish straight.
Yeah, it was job done for Hamilton, really. Let's be real about it. Lance Stroll is out, so they joins in the third list as well. The third driver there with Bottas, Perez, and Stroll. Not sure why. Don't worry, mate. Daddy runs the company. You'll be fine. Don't you panic. You'll get a seat for next year there as well. That's a funny old thing that is for Aston Martin. Do you know what I mean? Stroll, you never know what you're going to get. You know what I mean? Isn't he?
Yeah.
He's like Marmite or Vegemite or some other dirty brown stuff that apparently you can put in coffee and have it on toast. Either way, it's disgusting. He literally is just basically like Marmite. You never know what Stroll's going to turn up. You could have one that would do amazing, and then you'll have one that would just want to go and terminate the car at every opportunity. He's such a weird one. And everybody probably on that F1 grid may sit back and go, he deserves to be here. But I can guarantee there's probably 50% saying he's only here because Daddy's got it. I'm not trying to start controversy, but
no.
Surprise, surprise, James starting controversy here on the JPB channel. That's a new one. Let's be real. Standard. You know what I mean? I'll upset the drivers and everybody else in the process. But you get what I mean? You know,
exactly.
He ain't done nothing in conjunction with Alonso this season. Alonso's been out. He's been, he's got podiums all over the place, and it's just, I don't know with Stroll. I just can't get it. Norris is on the radio. We think Russell will try and do a one-stop. Therefore, he's only a threat if we abuse our tyres. So Norris has been told to tyre manage a little bit better than what he clearly is doing at the moment. But yeah, I don't know with Stroll. Weird one. But anyway, for now, he is out. He can go and have a shower, sit back, get a cup of tea. So there we go. Piastri is under attack. And what's Pierre Gasly been up to?
Well, Pierre Gasly has been fighting with one of the outfits round the outside of Liam Lawson. You know what? You have to give the Kiwi credit where credit is due. We were talking about him yesterday. To pick up his first, 2 points at Singapore last week. Yeah, I can understand what you were saying about Norris. He set the fastest lap of the race, so 1 minute 36.689. And is 11.5 seconds off of Verstappen, currently P4. But Piastri is looking very, very close to a certain George Russell, who looks to be a bit more conservative on the race pace in comparison with Lando Norris. I mean, Russell's last lap was a 1:39.4. Lando's last lap a 1:38.0, so you can understand why McLaren are trying to do the undercut using a two-stop strategy if Merc are using Russell for that. Well, he's been on the medium compound tyre
for
a dot. He
hasn't gone in.
He's going for the one stopper, folks. So there were multiple two-stop strategies that Pirelli had advised about in the email communication they sent out, and a big thank you to Pirelli for the rights-free media that we were able to show with regards to the video earlier on the broadcast. So don't forget, if you are watching on the JP Broadcasting Network, say hi, tell us who you're supporting, how do you think the race is going to be, and there are the compounds. There is also the asphalt abrasion, lateral downforce, track evolution, tyre stress, traction, circuit information, the 18-inch wheels. talking about the camber limits and the minimum starting pressures, which will be a bit more significant at the front. So we are on lap 24 out of 53, and Russell
in pits.
Yeah,
he's
Russell is
in.
in. Yeah, so that's going to be the one stopper. So Hamilton will be on a two stopper. Well, actually, Hamilton
think.
went. We think. I think he might be getting the hards out of the way now. A lot of the top teams, including Mercedes, did not have two brand new cars. No new sets of soft tires coming into this race. So, well, quite funny. The top three are exactly as they were. Starting at the beginning of lap number 25. So that just, I mean, it's sort of like, well, Lando's just gone. The longer I spend behind now, the worse you're going to make the race for me. Understood is the one-worded, one-sided message from his race engineer at McLaren, but he's closing in on Piastri, to be honest with you. The gap between them is about 7-8 tenths of a second. And Lando was a second quicker than Oscar on that previous lap. Now, bearing in mind, Lando pitted 4 laps later for his set of hard tyres. So McLaren obviously on that 3000 IQ two-stop strategy. As again, we are seeing Mercedes versus Aston Martin. And that is Russell versus Alonso. Alonso is right behind Ocon. Ocon's got a little bit more breathing space now because Russell has got through on Alonso heading into Spoon Curve. And, right, 4th car retired now. Logan Sargent, the American rookie, is out.
Well, not really a surprise there as well. I love Alonso. He's pulling away from me on the straight. Think of something. What are they hopeful that he's going to be able to think of? Because at the end of the day, you're the one in the car, mate. You know, you are a world champion. You kind of got an idea. The only thing they could look at doing is maybe banging a pit stop, which they are going to do anyway, to try and swap him around a little bit and do something. What's he doing, says Norris over Piastri. So Piastri not letting Norris, which I presume, Alex, is going to be team orders that they've been told to shift. And at the moment, Piastri isn't allowing him through. So, yeah, this could be an interesting one here for Norris and Piastri. The thing is, do they have the rights to fight? Does Piastri want to hold on to that position? Have they been told to swap? That's the question. And if they haven't been told to swap, well, they're going to go at it, aren't they? It's, you know, you've got to make a decision, Stella. Are you going to tell him to move? Are you going to tell him to fight? But either whatever you're going to do, Norris Radio again is just ruining the race now. If he wants George to beat, then he wants George to beat them. Well, yeah, Piastri needs to make a decision, but Lando should get him down the straight, I would have thought. They're nose-to-nose coming into Cassio. So they are coming into Cassio, through Cassio as well. So Norris will see if he can get him down into turn 1. Unless Piastri goes on the defence. But Norris has got DRS, so I doubt that's going to last.
Yeah, coming out of the last curve, as it's called here at Suzuka. And Norris is going to pull to the right-hand side of Oscar Piastri, gets through as the UK driver gets through for second position, and now that puts him 12.8 seconds behind Max Verstappen, who is consistently running in the 1:37.9s at the moment, has been on his second set of tyres for 10 laps. So as you can see on the tyre history on the right-hand side of the timing that we're showing on the screens for you folks, that Verstappen pitted on lap 16, switched.
Sergio's going back out.
What?
No. Hold on, he's in the car again.
That baffles me.
Yeah, they're strapping Perez back in the car. Sorry there, I don't mean it's just a shout randomly, but why is he going out again? Or are they trying to get him out? Albon's just been told to retire the cars, so both Williams are out, so they can pack up and get on their bike ready anyway. So early night for the pit crew there as well. I'm a bit confused, unless Perez is literally going out to try and get some points, I guess, but he's miles down, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's a long old way, isn't he? Unless they're going out using him for data checks, maybe. Let us know, chat, what you think. Why would the Perez be going back out after retiring a long time ago?
I've got a suspicion here.
Ooh, a
Now,
conspiracy theory from Alex Goldschmidt.
A possible hunch. Now, the thing is, if you get the maximum amount of points, for instance, I'm wondering if there is something happening. Now, there is a significant gap between Red Bull and Mercedes in the Constructors' Championship. And this is where I think it might come into play. Could they pick up both titles on the same weekend if they've got a big enough gap?
Yes, because they are literally, as I said earlier on, they're like 300 points ahead. I think if my 289 over 297, that's 308 points. But there's no need for Verstappen to go anywhere.
For Perez. But
for Perez, yeah, sorry. But
what if they
pick
purpose?
up the...
I think we could get there could be a photo op in the making. They could, but the only thing is Perez has been confirmed as an official retirement. So what is Red Bull doing?
And is he allowed?
That's the big question.
Is he allowed back out after being officially retired?
Unless
they didn't leave the car in the pit lane. They didn't leave it out on track. They tucked it back into the garage. So let me do a little bit digging. You talk for a minute, Alex. I'll go on a little bit of a hunt and see what I can find out here and whether or not Perez is actually allowed back out, because they didn't leave the car in the pit lane. So, you carry on for a minute.
Well, folks, thank you very much for joining us live on the JP Broadcasting Network for the watch-along for the 2023 Lenovo Japanese Grand Prix. Also, something quite interesting. Race title sponsor Lenovo, who are a technology company, came up with the idea to bring a modern bit of tech to the F1 trophy. Now, this is something not been done before, and they commissioned world-famous car design studio Pininfarina of America to help create it. It's a sleek trophy, and it has a Kiss Me area located on the outside with indicator lights which will flash when it's picked up to guide drivers to the right spot. And when they kiss it, it comes up with the colours of the national flag of the driver holding said trophy. And
that seems very stalkerish to me.
That sounds very Japanese manga-like as well.
It's very bizarre.
Considering the fact that the trophies look like part of a PS5 on the Japanese GP trophy detail that I've just seen. Meanwhile, battle happening between Tsunoda and Alonso. And Alonso is on his third set of tyres. So after lap 28, he came in for what will be his final set of tyres. And Alonso is through. The Japanese were very, very happy that Tsunoda, who, as we discussed yesterday, has had his contract extended with AlphaTauri alongside Daniel Ricciardo for 2024. And Alonso gets through. He's also set his best lap of the race, a 1:37.2 at the minute. But yeah, with 24 left to go, including this race lap, Max Verstappen has been on. So the big question is, will he actually... I'm thinking if Verstappen has got good pace on the hard tyres, that might be helpful for him to have a good steady compound to get him to the end of the race, whereas Kevin Magnussen has got through on Liam Lawson for 14th position. Guan Yu Zhou is in the pits once again. He's got through 3 brand new sets of C3 softs as the Chinese driver. Little interesting story about Guan Yu Zhou. Used to run with top international karting team Strawberry Racing, part of the OTK group. And when he raced in the UK, what was then the Super One British Championship, there was another person called, well, they nicknamed him Joe, but there was another Joe in the team. So you had Joe, and then Guan Yu Zhou was nicknamed Little Joe as a direct correlation, so they knew who they were talking to at the point, and then at least the drivers wouldn't get confused when someone said, "Hey Joe, what's going on here?" you know. But also Max Verstappen. I still remember him being part of the B&L karting series, a championship I still commentate on to this day, and he was the first ever two-time champion in the Minimax class when Jos the boss was not only taking him to every single race, but also was spannering for him at the minute. So 15 cars at the moment. James, how's your digging on the rules reference Perez rejoining the race? How's that
Well,
all going?
there's a mixture at the moment. Some people say with the modern day rules, they're not allowed. Others have said, yes, they can, but they will be out of contention and lapsed down. So I can't find an official FIA clarification. I'm hunting around at the moment. I just clicked on a Formula One rules, which was nice, and then it took me into Sky Bet and decided whether or not I want to place a bet on a race. But that was a little bit bizarre. So I'm going to carry on here as well. I've just found the 2022 101-page document of the rules, but I can't quite find the 2023 regulations. So bear with me. I'm still hunting around here. If anybody in chat knows the regulations on whether or not a retired car can come back out of the pits, we think, and I'll say this loosely because me and Alex at 6 o'clock in the morning don't do a lot of thinking. I'm not going to lie. Well, we've hit 7 now. We think Perez is coming back out, but I don't know if he actually will be. So we saw him get in the car. We saw him get him all buckled up. They were trying to sort everything else out around the car. So whether or not it comes out and he comes back out as well. There's like 5 watch-alongs happening right now. Your commentary and banter is by far the best. How's it, gents, from Joburg in South Africa? Well, welcome in, young sir. Thank you so much for the kind compliments. You're alongside myself, James Parvin and Alex Goldschmidt. But yeah, I'll just try and find the FIA rules for 2023. But if anybody in chat knows about the rules of Perez coming back out, please let us know, because Google isn't really telling me much, and yet the all-seeing eye of Google, well, should know, but apparently not. So there you go. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say on that one, Alex. I'm still trying here, sir, but I'm not doing too well.
No, I've just been having a look at some of the more prominent F1 journalists on Twitter. My good friend Luke Smith, who was writing for NBC Sports when Will Buxton was part of their pit lane team when NBC had the US F1 rights. He's writer for The Athletic and said about 6 minutes ago, Williams says that both cars were suffering progressive damage from their respective incidents. I'm not at all surprised because Alex Albon's car went airborne on the right-hand side, and that was prompting the call to retire. So Logan Sargent has been in the trenches. So I'm going to do a little bit of delving on the old social medias to see if I can find anything out.
You know the weirdest thing, right? I've just found the FIA rules for 2023. Formula One Technical Regulations, issue number 4. So they made quite a lot of adaptations to it, clearly. And do you know what? Right? A really pointless thing. I can't find one section on pit stops. So this is so bizarre. Like literally suspension, brake system, car construction and survival cells, safety structures and homologation, safety equipment, materials, fuel and engine, components classifications, regulation volume, but nothing on pit stops. That's very bizarre. So let's see what we can do. I'm going to try it, Alex, and carry on. But I think, to be honest, mate, I'm trying to. I think the word that I would normally use, I'm not going to say. But let's just say I'm not trying to get wet.
Yeah, I think it's let's bygones
you got
be bygones. Yeah. Let bygones be bygones.
Yeah, I think
be
so
honest with you on
too.
that one. It's probably the best way of looking at it. I mean, Lewis Hamilton is trying to close in on Carlos Sainz is about 3.7 seconds behind the Spaniard, who still resides in 5th position. And what's more, Leclerc is actually slightly faster at the moment. So you can see some of the race control, the radio team messages being showcased, saying that the about flap adjustment with regards to Carlos Sainz. Hamilton also talking about 38 degrees, probably talking about the track temperature. That's probably the Bono's probably talking to him about track temperature because that has dropped. It has cooled. It's now the wind has changed. Well, it was an easterly wind. It's now back to being an easterly wind. It was southwesterly. It was northeasterly at one point. Under a third of the wind speed today, as there has been. Humidity only 41%, but these drivers are in a car that has got a 1,000 brake horsepower hybrid 1.6 V6 turbo behind them. Russell's engineer said current models have us under pressure end of race. If there's any more pace in there, that would be helpful.
Well, yeah, that's please go faster.
Yeah.
We really didn't put it into nice terms. There was no real reason for them to put it into nice terms. They could have just said, please go faster. So, but at the end, yeah, you know, they've just given him a hurry on for Russell. I'm sure he's going to come back going, I'm going as quickly as I can. Please leave me alone here as well. But, you know, we're in that lull period. I like to call this period of the race, it's my Sunday roast sleep period, because whenever you Grand Prix on, right, and people can vouch for me on this. Come on, Alex. You know, I know we're going down a rabbit hole with this one, but we all do.
I feel both feet and legs already gone into it.
Yes. So basically, what you generally do is you watch the beginning of the race while you're eating your Sunday roast, right? And so you watch the first 10 laps while you're digging into your chicken and your roast spuddings and all your little gravy and all that. Then what you do is you lay down on the sofa and like a bear with a sore head, you go to sleep. And then you wake up on lap 43 when the end's coming. So this is where I'd like to call this period my Sunday roast period, sleep period. So this is where we're at. We'd love to be able to tell you all about these wonderful battles and things that are going on at the moment. But to be honest, there ain't a lot. And a lot of the field are on one stoppers, apart from we think Verstappen, Sainz and Leclerc. Leclerc is into the pits. Hamilton's also into the pits as well. So they're going to go softs and probably run the softs for the next 17 laps till the end of the race, 18 laps actually. But I am surprised Leclerc has gone on to the hards.
So is Hamilton. Hamilton's double stacked it. So he did 18 laps on the hard in the mid stint. Now, we've always seen that the medium tyres in previous years for the Mercedes have been very, very complementary. So Piastri on 21 laps for
Russell
this.
could be in trouble.
Oh, dear.
He has had a second, and I'll say this nicely, a second warning for track limits. And he's just been told off on the radio as well by his engineers. Engineers just come out and said, we've got a second strike. Please be careful. So Russell's time did get deleted on lap 33, and he will get another one deleted as well on 34. So Russell's been a little bit bad boy with track limits. So he's going to have to be careful before, as we know, they get penalties. So for Russell, he's got to be, and his engineers just said, chill it out, mate. Keep it on the grey stuff. Well, we didn't say that, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. It's just
be
it's
nice.
just one of those. Yeah. Just be careful. Don't go all four wheels off the track.
Keep it between the white lines, right? Let's be real.
Yeah.
Go on, son. Go on.
Yeah. I mean, for those wondering, what you're seeing is obviously the driver, how many places they've gained. Russell's gained 4 positions from 8th on the grid. You've then got the team, last lap, best lap, gap, interval, tyre history, the track map, and then also the radio communications being expressed by drivers and mechanics, drivers and engineers on the pit wall. But Lando Norris has done a stellar job again. He is now, Piastri's just pitted and has rejoined in 5th. He's gone on to another set of hards. So it looks like the the more durable compounds, the mediums and the hards, have been the better choice for the top tier teams.
Yeah, maybe. McLaren back on the mediums as well for Norris. The question is he going to be able to jump? Oh, talk. Blimey. Have a sneeze in the middle. Norris there has jumped Piastri, so he is out in front of Piastri, Russell and Sainz. Now, the question is Russell going to be able to get to the end? He is on the hards, and there is an opportunity there as well. I guess we've been undercut, says Sainz. Yes, confirmed. So, Sainz. Not too impressed, I would have thought. But Norris has come out in front of Piastri. Verstappen's been told to box again. Whether or not he's going to go for the fastest lap wouldn't surprise me, Alex. We did say yesterday he was going to wrap it up pretty much today. So, for Verstappen, it's pretty much done. Hamilton's fastest lap of the race, 1:35.6 on their new 2-lap-old hard. So, a lot happening.
Seems like the Mercs can switch on the hards pretty well. It looks to be the case with regards to the McLarens, but Verstappen now onto his... Well, he's now going to be slowing down. He's coming through the Casio triangle now, and they did just say to him to box, so he'll be in on what will be lap number 37. Well, make that 38 out of 53 because the start-finish line is actually not too far out of last curve. It's literally as you're burying the loud pedal, giving it the beans, and Perez is being held there. And
I wonder if that's photos.
That is photos because
I've got a funny feeling that is
it's going to be the double here for Red Bull. It's going to be the double driver's title for Max Verstappen, 3 in a row, second time in a row.
Go on, son, have it.
And it's going to be very. So
sorry. I was getting so sorry. I got excited. Norris just done Russell down into turn 1. He DRS'd him down the inside. You can see it there on your left-hand side. It will swap over. Norris just done Russell down into turn 1. So, sorry, I got a bit excited, Alex. But you carry on. I'll just sit here. It'll be all right. Anyway, carry on.
When you hear an exaltation like that from James Parfitt, you know that something exciting is happening. They are now telling Sainz to come into the pits. Now, he's been on the second set of medium tyres for what will be 20 laps when he comes into pit very shortly. He's just making his way through the hairpin as we speak. It's quite interesting. It's really interesting indeed what's happening between, all the different strategies that we're seeing. But I mean, it's a foregone conclusion. Verstappen, if Hamilton's put a 1:35.6 on the board as the fastest lap of the race, JP, I'm gonna not put you on the spot, but ask you a question.
Okay.
How much faster do you think that Verstappen will go on his set of hard tyres?
Well, what did we get? We got a 1:35, didn't we?
1:35.611, yeah.
Alex. 1:35.2. That's my prediction. Let us know in chat what you think. 1:35.611, 1:35. Saying that though, hold on. He was a long way ahead of Hamilton's fastest lap time, wasn't he, in quali?
Yes.
Right? So that's what was Hamilton's lap? 1:28.8. He is in race pace. He was the
second quicker. Verstappen was the second quicker in Q3, and Verstappen's just got right. Okay, well, hang on a second. Where is Verstappen? Verstappen has just got purple in sector 1.
I bet you.
Fastest lap coming.
Yeah, do you know what they're going to do as well? I reckon they're going to release Perez just as Max is coming down the start-finish straight and put him between Verstappen and Norris.
Oh.
Right? That's my prediction because he's being held at the moment and he's being held all the way. So I reckon Perez is going to come back out, but he'll put him between Verstappen and Norris just to make sure he wraps it up. Perez 130, Verstappen fastest
Whoa!
lap 134.1. So he did it by
1.5 seconds.
1.5 seconds country mile. So there we go.
Oi. Well, 14 left to go, including this one. It is a mere formality, folks. The writing was on the wall, and now Perez. The tyre warmers are off. And the Mexican gets released to the end of pit lane. I wonder if Red Bull have had to make a call to the FIA race director to get clarification and then permission to do so. If you know in chat, if they've had to do that, if anyone can have a little, I know wherever you might be in the world, if you are watching on the JPB network, thank you so much for joining us for what has been a very, very action-packed first one lap
Race.
where everything just kicked off, but it has been a pretty good race. We've had battles up and down the order, which has been rather riveting, as Oscar Piastri is now within DRS range of George Russell. And Russell has been on those hard tyres for 15 laps, and he was on the mediums for 24. That's the most that anybody has been on. And what have they done? Verstappen's on the hards. Perez is on a scrubbed set of soft tyres that have been used for 3 laps.
I still can't see where they're going with this. Yes, we think photos, right? It's got to be a photo op. There can't be anything else, can it? Let's be real about it. But sticking him out in scrub tyres as well? No, I don't really know. Perez is just out driving around on a Sunday at the moment. Piastri's attacking Russell currently as we speak. They're going to be down the start-finish straight, coming down into turn 1. I don't think Piastri is going to get him this time around, but I don't think it's going to be long. Perez has been told to box again. So Perez come out, said hello, waved his hand out the window, and then been told to go back into the pits. So very bizarre. A very bizarre thing to try and do, I think, from the Red Bulls there, Alex, to be honest.
Yeah, that's going to be quite interesting from that perspective, to be honest with you, James, because it's just sort of
weird.
It is weird. It is really, really weird. They probably have done it for a photo op because, as I said,
surely they'd want him to go to the end, wouldn't they?
Well,
not bringing him in a lap later.
No, I don't think they would have done because, yeah, I mean, Mercedes is, as you rightly said, 308 points behind Red Bull. So Verstappen with 26, that puts them at the deep intake of breath because Norris and Russell.
It's Piastri.
Oh, Piastri. Piastri's right up the rear wing of Russell. And they're coming through out of the Casio triangle. So he's going to be in DRS range. That gap is closing. Piastri will now go for third down the start-finish straight. Goes to the outside into the opening corner. And he's got him.
Yeah, he did him. Well done, Oscar Piastri. He did him on the outside of turn 1. DRS assisted, mind you, right at the point until they can go onto the brakes, of course. Perez has been told to retire the car again. So, yeah. But I'm all right, Perez, you carry on. Obviously, they're just doing whatever they're doing at the moment. I think Max is going to have a third stop. The gap will be there in a few rounds, says Mark. Maybe Mark. I think you might be right. He has got the best lap. So, to be honest with you, I don't know if Max really needs to go in again, Mark. So, I'll be surprised if he does, because he's already got the fastest lap on a 1:34.183 by 1.5 seconds, as we just watched Piastri sweep around the outside of Russell into turn 1. So a great job. It's looking like a double podium for McLaren. That's not first and second, and third. But then we did say yesterday, Alex, as well, they were looking very strong, didn't they? So, for McLaren, I think this has been hopefully a turn in the books for them, and it has been coming the last few races, but now I think they could push on from here, to be honest. I'll be very surprised. Perez is going back into the pits. and retired the car again. So whatever the Mexican team did doing, didn't work. So they're back in. But there we go.
Yeah, exactly. Just looking at the points at the moment, Russell is currently in 4th, that's 12 points. Take away Hamilton's points at the moment, which is 8, so that's 20 points for Merck. Yeah, looking at it from this perspective,
do you want to borrow my fingers and toes, or are you good?
314 points would be the difference between Mercedes if it finishes as it does right now, because we are coming up to 10 laps to go.
Alex doing maths on the fly here, everyone.
On the fly.
He's got his napkin out and he's got his little marker.
No, mate, I got my phone and my calculator on the calculator on my phone out. So I was thinking,
son, look at you getting all technical at this time of the morning.
I know.
Who brings the calculator out?
No, well, it's the one on me dog and bone. But
this is the thing, isn't it? You know what I mean? Look, to be honest, I think Red Bull's wrapped both up. Right, I'm not going to lie. I think they've done the championship. I think they've gone and done the constructors. Despite the amount of maths that we'd love to work out, if Norris and Piastri got a 1-2, or who is it, Mercedes, the chances of Russell getting a 1-2 over every single race for the next 6 rounds, well, you know, let's be real, they got more open winning the lottery, not that they actually need to, because there's enough money there to last them a lifetime. But
true,
you get what I mean, right? They haven't got, there's no need, but it ain't going to happen. So I think, as far as I'm concerned, Red Bull wrapped up the constructors, Verstappen's wrapped up the championship. Let me know in chat here as well. Russell and Leclerc are going at it at the moment as well. They're going to be on the run down into turn 1 and up through the S's. So I think George Russell could be under pressure from 4th from Charles Leclerc at the moment. So let's see how that one pans out as we go into the last 10. One of the other things I want to really quickly pick up on is Hamilton and Sainz, whether or not they're going to come into contact with each other as well. I'm just trying to see.
3.5 seconds is the gap between Sainz and Hamilton.
Yeah, Sainz was 8 tenths quicker over that last lap. So I think whether or not they're going to, that's going to come towards the end of the race, I would have thought.
Yeah, also interesting fact that this will be the 2nd race in a row where Lando Norris will have secured. He's been so close to that win. We talked about when he was told, "Do you want to stay out or do you want to come in for tyres?"
He should have come in,
and he shot himself in both feet and both kneecaps at the same time when it all came hurtling down the rain from up above. But a far cry from what we had 12 months ago here in Suzuka. Also, another interesting fact, folks. Suzuka is Honda's home turf, so this will be an absolute celebration and a half. I think there'll be plenty of sake and Japanese yakiniku and all that kind of stuff being consumed tonight. But Charles Leclerc is going for it. He's gone wheel to wheel, and Leclerc has just got through round the outside of the first corner on George Russell. What a move from Charles Leclerc, the move of the day from the Monegasque driver.
He was pushed and squeezed like an orange in a juicer. I'm not going to lie there from Russell, but he grew and he got the cojones and he just sorted it out straight round the outside. So yeah, well done to him. We're just watching it back. He come from a long way. He was a long way. DRS assisted, as we know, coming down the start finish straight. Russell waits. Now he goes onto the inside, and then Leclerc, as we go into the helmet cam, Leclerc says, "Well, you do whatever you like, mate. I'm still going." And he come. Oh, he was almost on the grass on the exit of 1 as well. Russell sent him. Oh, blimey. Yeah, Leclerc did it, but boy, oh boy, was that close. So there we go.
Very, very different. Very different to what we had last time out at Singapore. That Mercedes did the El Grando overcut, so undercut on the guys in front. Leclerc was a sitting duck. Both Mercs got through, and then, of course, George was on course for another podium behind Lando and clipped the exact same wall, but clipped it harder than Lando and went into the barriers. And there you have we've just seen the updated championship scores. 6:23 plays 3:07 at this moment.
They've done it.
They've done
They've done it, haven't they?
They've done it 100%. As that was Magnussen, I think, that Verstappen has just overtaken, or is that Hulkenberg? Not 100% sure, but it was one of the Haas's. He's already done Magnussen. So that will be very, very much the case. We have got 8 left to go. And as I said earlier, there's going to be plenty of celebrations, especially from the team at Honda Racing Corporation, of course. In the current regulations, the IP, the intellectual property, has been acquired by Red Bull, but Honda Racing Corporation still sitting by Red Bull's side. It really has seen the re-emergence of Honda in a indirect capacity, let's say here, James. Since 2021, when Honda said they were pulling out, but then the HRC badges came back onto the Red Bulls. Of course, Red Bull powertrains will be partnering with Ford on the hybrid system from 2026 onwards. But there's been a bit of a big old lockup. That was from Hamilton as he closes up on George Russell.
Do you know what? People literally will moan for the sake of it, right? Race control, turn 2 incident involving Leclerc and Russell noted, leaving the track and gaining an advantage. What? He didn't have any more. He didn't have a choice. And I'd like to point out as well, do you know what? Sometimes I wonder with these people.
Yeah.
I'd like to point out as well, he had probably half a tyre still on the racetrack at that moment he was squeezed, right? So, you know, give me a break. If that comes anything out of it, I would not be happy. But one of the things I am interested in is I've just heard 2 radio messages talking about the fact if there was a safety car, Max has been asked, would he be interested in some new tyres? Norris and Piastri's asked the same question. Piastri said, yeah, I would, but then he got told he would be losing 3 positions, right? So I don't know if Piastri's going to go that one. But why are they taking all right, no FA on the incident with Leclerc and Russell. That's fine.
Okay.
Why are we talking about a safety car when there ain't one? So
no, exactly.
It seems a little bit weird why we're going to all of a sudden talk about a safety car. If there is miraculously a safety car here, I would be very impressed. But now we're going to see a Sainz-Russell-Hamilton battle. So yeah.
Considering the fact that Sainz is on 4-lap younger tyres than Hamilton, who's been on his hard compound tyres for 12 laps, George Russell, folks, is a sitting duck. He will not, I think, probably with 6 to go, including this one, Hamilton's going to be all over him like a rash. Sainz will then get through, so that will dump Russell down to
Hamilton is on the radio. We are going to lose both of these positions to Sainz. What do you think that means, chat? Get Russell out of the way. Russell, I tell you what, if George comes out of the way here, well, I'd be very impressed, but he definitely isn't going to move out of the way here as well. The interesting thing, Alfa Romeo have come on the radio to show and said, you can push more. The kid's down in 13th. I'm not quite sure what they're expecting from him at the moment. I'm not going to lie. Seems a bit of a crazy one to give somebody a message right at the end of the race to say, push more. I'm sure he's not been driving Sunday racing here as well. But Sainz and Hamilton going at each other. Russell radio. What have you been told, George? What have you been told? No, nothing at the moment. I'm waiting for that radio to come through at the moment from what George Russell has been told. Hamilton's again moaning about the fact that he's going to lose positions. Well, you know, you can't really help that one. Do it on the racetrack, son. It ain't ballet. You know what I mean? Let's
Yeah.
be real. If
Let's
you're
not-
going to get through, yeah. Let's not ask him to roll over here.
Let's don't tippy toe around the situation. Get that? No. Hey, well, you said ballet. I said tippy toe. There we go. At
He's
this
going
time
to
in the morning.
go. Gee, my blimeys. Hamilton literally comes from so far back on Russell and he dived him in turn one like an absolute rocket and kind of said to George, well, I'm not being rude here, mate, but you deal with him. So Russell's now got to deal with Sainz, the ever-closing Carlos Sainz there as well. So, yeah, I think Russell could lose sixth here, but I wouldn't be surprised if Hamilton did get caught. But, yeah. Oh, boy, he got told to swap.
Well, I'm not at all surprised because look at it this way. Lewis Hamilton is currently
Russell's
third.
arguing.
Oh, dearie me. Now, come on, stop bickering, you guys at Brackley and at the pit lane. I mean, Hamilton's battling for second in the championship. Russell will lose seventh to Lando. Lando's on 97 at the moment. George Russell on 109. So Russell is a bit of a sitting duck, as I rightly said. And what's the exaltation about now?
George got told to swap positions. George come back and said, why don't we DRS do it on the last lap like we did last week? Then his engineer just literally come out and went, it's an instruction, George. And Russell was like, whoop. So there we go. So Russell has got DRS. Sainz has got DRS as well as they come out of the last
Yeah, Sainz has got him. Sainz has got him. He's going to do him down the start-finish straight, and the move has happened. There you go. So I said, you know what? That instruction has probably come from Merck Sporting Director Ron Meadows, who also runs Argenti Motorsport in karting. Kenzo Craigie is one of the young drivers in that crew, who's actually part of the Mercedes Junior team. We're having a look at the replay. Well, Sainz sent it from Seoul in South Korea to get came from way back when as well. So that DRS down the back straightaway is incredibly powerful. But the way things are at the moment, Max Verstappen is just 4 laps away from picking up his third successive Formula One world title, matching the likes of Ayrton Senna, who took his third and final world championship title. Get this, folks, 32 years ago.
Right. Hold on. Give me 2. Okay, so first off, they were told to swap positions, right? George has come back and argued. George then said George was told it's an instruction, right? So George had to get out of the way. Hamilton was then told to give George Russell the DRS coming down the start-finish straight, which he didn't survive from Sainz anyway. Then Russell come back up and said, look, if we want to play the team game, he didn't even name him. He turned around and went, he pushed me off the track earlier. So all is kicking off in the Mercedes at the moment. Hamilton's come back and he said he did understand. He understood the instruction that he was told to give him DRS, and he did do that. Unfortunately, Russell still didn't survive. But at the moment, Mercedes, Russell's not overly happy. So be aware on that one. This could be interesting as we go into the last 2 laps there as well. I'm going to keep an eye on the radio now I've actually found out where it's coming from, and I will see what's going on. But yeah, great job. Welcome in, everyone. Thank you so much. Like, subscribe, and turn on the bells. That'd be amazing.
And share as well whilst you're at it on social media.
Yeah, share it as well. Come and watch it along here with us as well. Nothing serious, just me and Alex having a chat Sunday morning at 7:30. And me moaning about a lot of things. So, but there we go. Hey,
and talking about the Sunday roast zone as well, like that.
Yes,
analogy.
But we are in this. We've woken up now, haven't we? Let's be real. We've woken up. We've seen McLaren go at each other. Russell Hamilton's on the radio moaning again.
Can they just please at Mercedes just stop bickering and just concentrate on what you need to do. Hamilton's going to be P5 anyway. Max Verstappen, get this, is when he wins this race in about a lap and a half's time, he will be on his 180th Grand Prix start in Formula One, 3 away from the race victory tally of a 4-time Formula One world champion. I am, of course, talking about France's Alain Prost. And could Max Verstappen be within earshot of getting into the top 3? Third on the all-time ranking list of race victories, Sebastian Vettel with 53 race wins, who took his last race victory at Singapore in 2019.
Oh, this is going to be a last lapper from Sainz. Hamilton come on the radio a little bit earlier on, said to his team exactly why did we waste so much time. So I think that was going on to the car swap there as well for Max Verstappen. Last lap from Max Verstappen. We'll keep an eye on Sainz and Hamilton. I've got a funny feeling Hamilton could be in trouble. And if he's going to be in trouble here, he's going to go back and moan straight away to his team about the fact of why they took so long, right? I'm not being rude here, chat. And I think a lot of you can relate with me. If there are Hamilton fans, I'm not trying to upset anyone. Don't get me wrong. But the last 5 radio communications I've just heard, yeah. But anyway, so let's see what happens here. But Max is on his way now, going around Degner 1 and 2, as you can see on the right-hand side top corner there, as well. So let's see how this one pans out. But at the moment, Max by 19 seconds. So, yeah.
Yeah. 47 career victories so far. His opening one was the 2016 Spanish Grand Prix at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, where a certain Lewis Hamilton and his teammates at the time, Nico Rosberg, came together on the opening lap through in the first half of the lap itself as Max Verstappen comes out of Spoon Curve. Just a handful of corners remain for the young man from the Netherlands, 25 years of age, on the back stretch, heading into 1:30R for the 53rd and final lap of the 2023 Lenovo Japanese Grand Prix. What's more, there's going to be celebrations in the pit lane out of the final turn. Max Verstappen takes his 48th Grand Prix career race victory. It's going to be another second position for Lando Norris. For McLaren, he does it again. The young man from the UK, and what's more, out of the Casio coming down the back stretch. You know what? McLaren, Zach Brown, everyone at Woking, they have worked so hard. Stealth mode engaged because Oscar Piastri will pick up his first official Formula One podium here at Suzuka, not too far away from his home nation of Australia.
Oh,
it's getting close.
It's got to go. You got to go, Sainz. Otherwise, you're not going to get there. I don't think Sainz did enough. Leclerc comes over the line in 4th. I've got a funny feeling Hamilton will grab that 5th. He did. Sainz didn't get close enough. He got within a second, didn't go any further after that as well. So, yeah. So, yeah, there you go. Jobs are good.
And it's been confirmed, Red Bull Racing, Red Bull powertrains have now been officially confirmed by the FIA as 2023 FIA Formula One Constructors Champions. Great job by Adrian Newey, Christian Horner, and all the crew at Milton Keynes. They have done a spectacular job. Red Bull does it again. And you know what? This, I think, we last year at Suzuka, there was all that confusion because we want to wait for that one moment, don't we, JP? We want to wait to see if the double has happened. So there's going to be celebrations with Red Bull. There's going to be celebrations with Honda, and fastest lap of the race and a maximum score for Max Verstappen. 25 points for a race win. And an additional point for a 1:34.183, the fastest lap of the race. You know what? I mean, it's really, really good to see. McLaren were nowhere at the beginning of the season, and they're really getting into their stride. right about now. I mean, let's sort of dissect the dynamic. I mean, because now Norris and Piastri, they I watched the Singapore unboxed, and they both got into the the cool tanks, the cool pods that they have, and Oscar Piastri's words to an effect were, "Oh, just get me the out of here." And Lando was just chilling, looking on social media on his smartphone and it's great to see driver of the day, Oscar Piastri, the Aussie, managed one of his managers, Mark Webber, gets 28% of the vote. First podium of the season, first podium of the Aussies' career. I'm really excited to see what Oscar Piastri brings, because if you get into a team like McLaren at this phase where we thought they were going to be nowhere come the beginning of the season, and here we are now at this point, McLaren, I think, could possibly make their way into the top 3 in the Constructors' Championship if things go well and we see the bickering between Ferrari's drivers and Mercedes drivers. That could be quite interesting. I mean, McLaren currently are behind Aston Martin, but that's through the efforts of Fernando Alonso, to be honest with you. And I know we have to say a big old shout out to Dean Biggles, who's been doing the broadcasting, and it is, being an Aussie, he'll be happy as punch. So there you go, Constructors' Championship banner shown in Parc Fermé as Max celebrates with the team. That's just that's really cool. The camaraderie, the harmonious team effort there as well. And Lando high fives with Zach Brown and handshakes with the rest of the team. Great to see McLaren just striding forward, and that is 6-time Constructors' World titles for Red Bull. I mean, I remember going back to when Christian Horner was a 30-something chap, had a little bit of a fairly consistent race career, and then ended up as the youngest team boss on the grid when Jaguar got bought out by Red Bull. Who would have thought that the move that the late Dietrich Mateschitz showed would be proof in the pudding, when you look at who has won world titles for them. And there have been 2 talisman drivers, one of which, who's actually been at Suzuka this weekend. We have to give a shout out to 4-time Formula 1 world champion, Germany's Sebastian Vettel, who is a 4-time race winner at this circuit. But now Max Verstappen joins Fernando Alonso, Mika Hakkinen, Damon Hill, who won it back in 1994 and 1996, if anyone might remember the words uttered by a certain late Murray Walker. I've got to stop now because I've got a lump in my throat. Back in 1996, Ayrton Senna, 1988 and 1993. Gerhard Berger, 87 and 91. Motoharu Kurosawa in 1969 and 1973. Yoshikazu Tsunako in 1966 and 1969, then Vettel in 09, 10, 12, 13, Hamilton 07, 14, 15, 17 and 18. Schumacher, well, you don't need to say much about that man. What else has he not done in this sport alongside Hamilton? Verstappen really, really showcasing what he's able to do. 95, 97, 2000, 2001, 2002 and 2004. But a 48th career win for Max Verstappen. This has been absolutely epic today, mate. And it's been real fun commentating alongside yourself on this JPB F1 watch along. It's been a lot of fun. It's something different for us here, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's not our normal commentary, as you know. Normally you're getting play-by-play, you'll get comms, you'll get everything, you'll get iRacing, you'll get ACC, you get R Factor, but we thought we'd come up and give it a go and see how we got on, and Verstappen's very happy as well, by the way. So yeah, I think it's something different as well. If you have enjoyed it, guys, whack a like on it, give it some love as well. Don't forget to share and subscribe. We'll look at doing the next race as well. So maybe we'll come along and do the next one here once more on the JPB YouTube channel. So stay tuned for that because, we'll we'll look at setting up the next one. Where's it going to be? It's going to be Qatar. So
Yep.
we'll look at doing Qatar. Race goes off 6 o'clock in the evening for me. That's my time. Sprint race on the 7th, of course, and quali on the 6th. So yeah, stay tuned. We'll put some notices out, and but yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much if you have as well, Mark there, and also Pravesh. Thank you so much as well for saying that it was the best watch along that you've gone into. So yeah, happy.
Well, as the podium interviews get underway with Damon Hill conducting them on the start-finish straight, that's it from us here at the JP Broadcasting Network. On behalf of Dean Biggles, James Parfitt, my name's Alex Goldschmidt. Thank you so much for tuning in for our 2023 Japanese Grand Prix race watch-along. See you next time. You never know, we could be talking about you very, very soon. Goodbye.